Morning. Uh, let's talk while I set up my photo printer for my nature journaling endeavors. Just got back from a what others would consider a short walk, but for me was a moderate walk. Uh, and uh, sometimes I'll just write as I'm going, or I'll wait until after. And today's one of those after days. I switched over from an Instax mini camera that ended up malfunctioning and costing too much anyway for the refills, cartridges, and I've now switched to the um, Kodak Mini 2 Retro, which has been wonderful thus far and a lot more cost effective and greater quality photos. So, the photos are on this camera though. Okay, I'll talk to you first then. Along my walk, I was, experiencing, so smelling flowers and observing things that were unique to this day and this moment's experience, that moment's experience. And so one of my personal contemplations is about connections, specifically romantic sexual connections. And I've experienced a long-term desire for committed partnership, and the ways that I have considered what that would look like has shifted over the last decade. And I admit I'm in a state where I know for a sense of stability what is desired, and at the same time that feels like it conflicts but doesn't actually conflict. I'm having faith in that. Feels like it conflicts with the I that I am, where I acknowledge that we are all one and we are all just expressions of the same core consciousness. And so I fluctuate, swirl within, not even between, but just there's a swirling of concepts, and I'm basically, what I was contemplating is the duality of things, where it is reasonable and possible, as everything is possible, to manifest a partnership that is reciprocal, committed, with what I'll label as relative exclusivity, in that I've in more recent years identified as ethically non-monogamous. Monogamish would be the closest, in that I need kissing and sex exclusivity because immune dysfunction. And so that, alongside certain traits of being, is hard to find, or hard to access more readily. Is unconventional, and therefore takes more time. And so in the interim / alongside that, my more recent experience has been more so with what I have used the word lovers, where the experience has been working towards partnership, but then ultimately things aren't aligned. And so it's this more intentional romantic sexual space that's shared, that isn't fully committed but has commitment in mind, but may not always have to be working towards that, as long as there's transparency. And so with lovers, it's been this thing. This is the core of what I'm getting at. It's been this thing of seasonal connection where nobody is making it past 3 months. It always starts towards the beginning of a season, like an actual like spring, summer, fall, winter season. And then by some point before the 3 month mark of that season, it falls through, we'll say. It's not entirely accurate, but for conventional speak. And so it makes me wonder if, much like when I'm out on my walks and there are certain aspects of nature, certain expressions of consciousness in plants, birds, flowers, or plants, but the things that are popping up for that time, and I have the deepest admiration of that beauty that is like natural beauty, what is organically present. It makes me wonder if that's, or I'm leaning into that being sometimes leaning into that being the approach of lovers, connections that are not strictly platonic, because I already apply this to platonic connection, where it's just I acknowledge for the moment what is, and there's beauty in that because it is in that moment. There is no certainty in the longevity of that, so there's a deeper admiration to some extent, knowing that it's going to be temporary and pass, or at least for that season, for that year. And that's beautiful in and of itself, and at the same time that conflicts with what I know I deserve and desire for partnership. And so I wonder if gaining clarity on lovers versus, not versus, but gaining clarity on lovers and being open to that as a concept, whilst also holding space for commitment and partnership for when that aligns with someone, and or someone's. I think at most I would harness space for 2 partnerships, but I really just need the stability, the intimacy that can be accessed via stability in a single partnership, but one that acknowledges my sacral energy. Because I am a very romantic person in the sense of sensual experience, being very tapped in fully to the present in all of my senses. That is what I define as romance, is present sensual experience. So all my connections have romantic aspects, and it's just kind of floating in space right now has been the theme. And summer is coming, and summer, the season of wands, of speed, makes me wonder what's going to manifest. In the interim, I'll continue to note my findings and expand upon the magic that is. I love you. Thank you for listening. And happy anniversary to me and I. That's coming up May 29th. So I'll be celebrating that this month. Just the way I've learned to express it is that self-marriage, that marriage with me, solo marriage, is soul, as in like the soul, solely, not solely. All right. onward to printing. See you around.